Have you ever thought about what happens when a giant empire, one that ruled almost a quarter of the world, decides to completely change its identity? Well, that's exactly the story of the Commonwealth. It's a fascinating journey from ruling by force to connecting as friends.
So the big question we're tackling is this: how on earth does a global power, built on control, manage to transform itself into a voluntary family of equals? It's a pretty huge shift, right? So let's break down exactly how it happened. We're going to cover this story in 5 parts. First, we'll look at that big shift from empire to friendship. Then, we'll dig into the rules that made everyone equals. After that, we'll see what unites all 56 member countries today, find out what they actually do together, and finally, we'll ask what the future might hold for this global family.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're starting at the very beginning, with the British Empire and the massive change in thinking that led to the Commonwealth.
So picture this. Hundreds of years ago, British explorers went out looking for things like spices and silk. This eventually led to colonies being set up all over the world. The empire became so enormous, with land in pretty much every time zone, that it was literally true. Somewhere on its territory, the sun was always shining.
But here's the thing. As time went on, people in these colonies wanted to make their own decisions. And leaders back in Britain began to realize that trying to rule the entire world from London just wasn't going to work forever. So this led to a pretty radical new idea. What if, instead of an empire, they formed a partnership of independent friends? That one question was basically the seed that the entire Commonwealth grew from.
An idea is one thing, but you've got to make it official, right? So let's look at the key moments that legally turned this new club into a family where everyone was on the same level.
There were 3 key moments that made this whole transformation official. Think of them as the 3 most important steps on the journey from being an empire to becoming the Commonwealth we know today.
The first big step happened in 1926. It was called the Balfour Declaration, and it was a groundbreaking statement. It officially said that Britain and its self-governing dominions were equals. No country was the boss of another. This was huge, and it laid the foundation for everything else.
So you'll hear this word, sovereign. What does it actually mean? Well, it just means you're the complete boss of your own country. You have the full power to make your own laws and decisions. The Statute of Westminster in 1931 was the legal document that made this a reality, confirming that countries like Canada and Australia were now fully in charge of themselves.
Then came another crucial turning point. A republic is a country that elects a president as its head of state instead of having a king or queen. When India decided to become a republic, it created a question: could it stay in the club? The London Declaration of 1949 gave a clear answer: yes. This change was absolutely vital because it opened the door for many more newly independent nations to join.
So that's the history. But what does this group actually look like today? Let's take a look inside the modern Commonwealth.
Today, the Commonwealth is a family of 56 member countries, and they're spread all across the globe, in Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, and the Pacific. It's a truly global network.
And get this, together, those 56 countries are home to 2.5 billion people. That number is just staggering. It means about 1 out of every 3 people on Earth lives in a Commonwealth country.
And here's the fact that really tells you about the future of the Commonwealth. Over 60% of its citizens are under the age of 30. This makes it an incredibly young and dynamic organization.
So what holds this huge, diverse group together? It all comes down to a set of shared core values. Every single member country agrees to uphold democracy, the rule of law, which just means everyone follows the same rules, human rights, and fairness for all its citizens.
Now, you might be wondering where the British monarch fits into all of this. Well, they have a unique role as the head of the Commonwealth, but it's really important to know that this is a symbolic job. The monarch has 0 political power over these countries. They just serve as a symbol of the friendship and unity that links all the member nations together.
But the Commonwealth is way more than just a group with shared history and values. It's an active organization that does a lot of real-world work.
One of the most famous things it does is, of course, the Commonwealth Games. It's held every 4 years, and it's nicknamed the Friendly Games. That's because the main goal isn't just about winning medals, it's about promoting peace and connection through sport.
And the games have their own really cool character. You'll see sports that you might not find at the Olympics, like lawn bowls, netball, squash, and of course cricket, which are all super popular across the Commonwealth.
Beyond sports, the Commonwealth provides a lot of practical help.
First, it shares expertise by sending experts to teach skills in fields like technology and medicine. Second, it helps fund development projects to build things like better schools and hospitals. And third, it works to make sure member countries can trade fairly with each other and the rest of the world.
And hey, remember we said how young the Commonwealth's population is? Well, there's a huge focus on them. The organization offers scholarships for students to study in other member countries and even runs a youth council, which gives young people a direct way to talk about their ideas with world leaders. This isn't just a nice thing to do, it's an investment in the future.
And that brings us to our final section. In a world that's changing so fast, what does the future actually hold for this pretty unique organization? Today, the Commonwealth is focused on some of the biggest challenges that affect every single one of us. Its leaders are working together on big plans to tackle climate change, reduce the plastic polluting our oceans, figure out how to use new technology for good, and help maintain peace between nations.
So after this whole journey from a powerful empire to a family of nations, we're left with this final big question. Is the Commonwealth just an echo of the past, or could its model of cooperation and shared values actually be a kind of blueprint for our future? It's something to think about.